Hello YouTube and hello Ninth Age community. This is Charles Evershade Gaming and I have another Ninth Age battle report. This is round 2 at Michigan GT, my Ogre Cons versus Daemon Legions. Let's get into it, folks. We played the Encircle deployment with King of the Hill as the objective. This is my opponent's list, and my opponent also, I thought, quite excellently, put his spells on his list. So he has on his Courtesan, he's got Fate's Judgment and Scrying. And on his Sentinel, he's got Hand to Heaven, Smite the Unbeliever, Cleansing Fire, and Trial of Faith. So I definitely applaud my opponent for being not only so excellent, but also so very courteous to his opponent. These are the spells that I chose: Hand of Heaven, Cleansing Fire, Trial of Faith, Smite the Unbeliever, and of course I had the Magical Heirloom. And these are the spells that I use the rest of the games for the entire tournament. So just think of these when you get to my magic phases. And here we are looking at the deployment. My opponent got the Defender deployment. So they gave me the attacker, so I could be a little bit more aggressive on my flanks. However, my opponent did get to deploy first to go for turn 1, which I think always leaves my army a little bit of a lurch because I do like to go first. So I end up making kind of a bid on this right flank, as you can see here, with my Yetis and my general. Sort of baiting the Courtesan out, seeing if I can get her to come out and play. And otherwise, I've got my kind of big blocks facing against his big blocks. I've got it's King of the Hill, and my opponent chose the rune-like thing on his top left corner, and then I chose the forest. So that's why he's got all his scoring units looking right at that forest. And yeah, I just tried to spread out my threats on the flanks so that I had stuff to try and wrap around. And then I kept some sturdy blocks in the middle that could deal with those Myrmidons. And nothing in my army particularly deals well with Hoarders, but then I don't think there's all that many things that deal well with Hoarders. So, yep. And unfortunately, this game, since I needed that scoring unit to deal with the getting the objective, I wasn't able to put my shaman in that unit as I would normally like, because that just puts his magic a little too far away from where I think I need to be. So concessions, I know. But yeah, that's the deployment. And starting with turn 1, my opponent does decide to try and make a charge. I want to say he just needed a 6 on the dice, and he fails it, so it's pretty fortunate for me. I get to toss a spear, and oh boy, hunting spears are really good. And I do 3 wounds to his Courtesan. And then we go into the rest of my opponent's turn. He just kind of shuffles up a little bit. He's, he doesn't want to get too close to that Yeti unit in the general, and staying a little bit away from the BSB. He does want to shoot maybe a Hand of Heaven at the BSB and puts a wound on him. The shooting over here puts a wound on the Rock. And then we go into OgreCon's turn 1, and I charge my Yeti and BSB. My goal is I'm just going to challenge my general, and I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to be able to weather her attacks, and I was kind of hoping to kind of beat her with combat res, or maybe even just kill her outright, with impact hits and my 5 attacks. So we'll see. Yeah, and then we don't really have to move all that much up in the middle, just to make sure the shaman's in range, to try and put a little hurt. I do actually attempt to make I think a 17-inch charge with the Rock. Probably not the best idea. Probably would have been wiser to save him for a little bit later in the game, but I thought I felt the desire to go for it. I do push my Mammoth Hunter up on the left flank there. I just, those Blazing Glories are tough, but I mean, he's got a fortitude, so he's got great saves and decent stats that I'm just kind of hoping. I got him in range to chuck a hunting spear too, so hoping I can clip a wound off, because that makes them even so much more easier to deal with. But yeah, I felt safe committing him. My opponent was already feeling like this was not going very well with his courtesan, getting into a bind pretty early. I want to say the Scratapult on the hill hits the Myrmidons on the right, and I think just kills one. Saves, right? You never know when a bunch of 5-up saves are going to go. However, we do get very fortunate, and my general beats down the courtesan, so that was pretty sick. I don't even think I took a wound. My opponent just I think he hit a few times, and then he just couldn't wound, and that was it. So that was pretty cool. Obviously, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to charge anything. I needed to overrun with both so I could get out of the Myrmidon's charge arc. But I think just being here is a good spot to. That Sentinel's not going to come in and it's just going to fly away and he's going to get a turn to maybe chaff them. But then, we're going to turn and get this juicy stuff. And the one Myrmidon unit can't even really turn face because otherwise it's going to get charged by 4 Tuskers. So, yeah, I thought this was awesome. The Hoarders do attempt to make a long charge here, just because I don't think there was really much if he failed it. He does charge his Hope Harvester at my Rock because I think it's a swingy fight. Kind of depends on how well we hit each other. And he hits monsters pretty well, so that could be not that great because we both have a rank, but we'll see. And but thankfully the Hoarders fail this charge. And this also went way too well too. One of the Blazing Glories comes in. He does 2 wounds to me. I swing back. I swing back and I hit really well and I wound really well and he just doesn't make any saves. So I put 3 wounds on him, and I've only taken 2, so we tie combat. And yeah, I'm definitely in a good spot to probably beat this Blazing Glory down, and then it's going to be on my turn. I kill it, so then I'm gonna probably still have to find another, but who knows? Maybe I can do it twice. Kind of missing the magic phase, going to their combat. The Rock does randomly really well and puts 4 wounds on the Hope Harvester. So, and I think he doesn't do anything to me. Again, but just dice really in my favor at this point in the game. And yeah, this is what we're looking like going into Ogre Khan's turn 2. So yeah, jumping a little bit ahead, but charge the Tuskers into the Myrmidons. I think this is showing that both of the Scratapults misfired this turn, and both can't shoot next turn, so a little annoying, but not the end of the world. We just moved the Hunters towards the Sentinel, toss a couple spears, and we get 1 through. It does 3 wounds. I mean, these hunting spears they're amazing. They're crazy. The Yetis are just going to go take down these imps, and yeah, we're just going to try and chase down this Sentinel. Just take her down, boys. Take her down. The Tuskers, they do great. They just blow through the Myrmidons. I think like just to the model, they do enough too. It was very fortunate. And as you can see, he did only 5 wounds back to me, so I still had like a rank. It went well. And they reform. They have to go 2 by 1 to stay out of the charge arc of the other Myrmidon unit, but they're able to do that. And yeah, that's pretty nice. I do make a mistake over here. I was pretty confident that the Rock, with its good performance the previous turn, was going to do well this turn, and I decided not to charge these 4 tribesmen into the Hope Harvester, thinking I didn't want to give this thing a lot of combat res. Well, the Hope Harvester just had a normal round of combat and did like 2 wounds to the Rock. And then the Rock didn't do enough wounds back, lost combat by 1, failed a Discipline 7 check, and just ran off the board. There was nowhere where it could, just with the angle that we had, it just, from my previous charge, it just popped right off that building and just said, see you later, folks. And I probably could have mitigated that if I brought the tribesmen in, because it would have been, actually, he would hit the tribesmen worse because they have Iron Fist too. So I don't know what I was thinking. I held them back because I was thinking I didn't want to endanger my scoring unit, but in hindsight, I think it was just a poor move. I think I could have greatly benefited from their just additional attacks and impact hits, and I might have killed it in that round, and then still had a rock, which would have been far nicer than not having a rock. So bit of a blunder there because now he can just charge me, and I might even just panic off the board, but I might get to try and kill in combat. But yeah, just a bit of a blunder right there. Do kill the other or the first Blazing Glory that was fighting my Mammoth Hunter. So again, now I'm gonna have to find another one, but that's okay. Yep, the other Blazing Glory charges in. I pass my panic test. The Hope Harvester comes in. I think he's got 5 wounds on him. The Hoarders make another long char. I think they needed a 9 or a 10 on the dice, so that's a bit of a bummer. And then the Mage Blight Gremlins, they popped up last turn, and then they come in, and the Sentinel just Sentinel just kind of flies over. The Myrmidons just sort of turn to face, so they can at least get fronts with everything. My general's going to go in there, and the Tuskers are going to go in there, and probably one of the Chariots is going to go in there. Unfortunately, this Blazing Glory can do it. Just couldn't make. I want to say he just did 2 wounds, and I just didn't make any fortitude saves, so that was a bit of a bummer. I would have loved the opportunity to swing back and possibly get a little lucky again, but wasn't meant to be. Hope Harvester has no problem killing me, and yeah, I think he's still on 5 wounds. So that was again, I feel like that was just a bad play on my part. I could have had the rock there, charging a banner. It would have definitely actually just won me the combat instead of losing the combat. So yeah, that's such a bad mistake on my part that previous turn. And yeah, the Hoarders and the Mage Blight Gremlins, they just blow through the tribesmen. I didn't stand a chance. Yeah, the Mage Blight Gremlins, you don't see them a lot, but I guess what they do is they generate a combat res for each spell you have in the unit. So I got 5 spells on my Shaman, so that's an automatic +5 combat res. But then, I mean, the Hoarders, they hit hard. I got 5 up armor save against it all, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. Even with all the attacks I get to come back, it's just, yeah, Hoarders are tough. What can I say? So yeah, so what are we gonna do? Well, this is actually after my turn 3. The Yetis take care of the imps. The Tuskers and the General and the Chariot blew through another Myrmidon unit. So I feel like I just kind of did enough with everything. Like where, yeah, I must have been swinging well, and it must have been my opponent must have been just failing Aegis saves left and right. So that was very fortunate. To again just kind of blow through them in one round of combat with everything. And I did overrun with my general so that he's trying to get as close as he can to that sentinel so it can't run away. And I point my Tuskers at the objective, and they're going to see if they can march over there in 3 turns. But otherwise, that's what we're looking like. So my opponent's turn 4, he moves his Hope Harvester over. He puts his only scoring unit in the forest, which is helpful for me because then I know that those Hoarders aren't going anywhere. He's, at this point, you can't really sacrifice the, objective to try and get some more points. And yeah, he just moves the Sentinel back. She does not want to get, hunting speared, and she's got plenty of good magic to still poke me with. So yeah. This is like jumping forward really far. So let's go back an image. All right. So you see me here. I totally missed a couple. Things got really spicy really quick. So again, this is my opponent's turn 4. So on my turn 4, I just move my general straight at the sentinel, and I think I give a front. I might even give I think I give a front. No, I think I might even give a flank to the Hope Harvester. No, I think it was a front. I can't remember. But anyway, I move my general right up, and so I can toss another hunting spear at her. And long range, but I'm like, whatever, they're so good. If I just get one through, she's dead. And I also move my BSB up pretty close to. He moves as far 14 inches forward as it can. To not only just have a reroll for the general in case things do get spicy, but also to make sure that maybe countercharge later on, maybe be able to clean some other things up. Not too sure. The Yetis move to just chaff the Blazing Glory. It's not a great fight for the Yetis, but I'm also thinking I've got so many attacks that even if he goes in, I think just with everything I have to go swing at, I think I'm going to do some damage. And crucially, it allowed for me to move up my Tuskers 16 inches too. That was the other thing I was considering too. I can't remember what I do with one of my chariots, but I know one of them charges down the hill into the forest to take care of one of the Mage Blight Gremlin unit. Yeah, I'm not sure what happens. Oh, it just moves up. One of the chariots just sort of scoots up a little bit up the field. Interesting. So this is where we are at the bottom of turn 5. What my opponent does in his turn 5 is he just charges the Sentinel right at my general, and he gets into and he brings the Hope Harvester, and he gets into a duel with my general. My general, I want to say, puts 2 wounds on the Sentinel. Sentinel throws its crush attack at my guy, and he misses. And I want to say it comes down to like a Disciplinate break test, and I pass it. And then we go into my turn. I bring my BSB into the Hope Harvester, and then my general kills the Sentinel in combat, and then we kill the Hope Harvester at the end of the game, and the Tuskers are able to move into the objective, and the Yetis got super lucky, and the Blazing Glory comes in. I think it only kills. It comes in and it ties combat, which was the big thing. Because I just swing with a whole bunch of attacks, and I think I put like 3 wounds on it. And I think it did. I might have even lost, and I had a 7 discipline check, and I had to reroll the BSB, and I passed it or something like that. But yeah, I get pretty fortunate where I kill the Sentinel, kill Hope Harvester, kill the Blazing Glory. The only thing my opponent's got left on the field is 6 Hoarders. I've got my 2 Stratopults. I've got my Tuskers at full points. And I've got my BSB and my General at full points. And my Yetis at full points. And that ends up being the game. And I win the game 15-5 with no points in the objective. So, yeah, off to a great start after round 1 and round 2. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you soon with another 9th Age Battle Report.